Good evening, my fellow Macedonians, and good evening, my fellow dragovci. My cousin Jim Randevsky called recently and asked me if I could say a couple of words. Keep it short, he said, so I will try. Something about ilinden, what it means and its importance to us Macedonians. Thank you, Jim, for asking me to speak. I consider it an honor and a privilege. I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight, but it's my pleasure to say something about ilinden to my people, dragovci. When most Macedonian people think of ilinden, they think of the rebellion, Ilindensko Vostanie, the uprising against the Turks, that was held in 1903, organized by Vomero of Delchev, Gruev, Pituguli, Sandansky, and all the thousands of other people who went and fought, and especially those who died, to establish a nation where we Macedonians can be Macedonians and be free. It's called the Ilindensko Vostanie because it started on the day Christians celebrate and honor Saint Ilya, the 24th of July. In Macedonia, every village has a patron saint. And for us dragovci, it's Saint Ilya. That's why it's called ilinden. It literally means Ilya's day. In my mother's village, the patron saint is Sveti Dimitar, and the day there is called Mitrovden. Our village has celebrated Saint Ilya's days for centuries, since our village was established, I would say, because that's when we adopted Saint Ilya as our patron saint. Patron saints are very important in Macedonia, not just for villages, but also for names. So if you're named Saint Peter, your patron saint is Saint Peter, and you will celebrate his day rather than your birthday. Birthdays weren't that important in the old country. In fact, I didn't know my actual birthday because my mother didn't know it. So I only found out 5 or 6 years ago what my real birthday was. Our village celebrated ilinden by holding a village fair. We call it a panagir. And that's where people got together in honor of the saint to dance, to eat, to chat, to sing songs, to play music. We're continuing that tradition. You guys are continuing that tradition by going to this ball. And every village in Macedonia that has Saint Ilya as its patron saints, it will be having a similar celebration like you are today. So the fair was held in the grounds of the monastery on the mountain there. I don't know if you've been there and seen it, but that's our monastery. Before the division of our nation, the monastery served people from both sides of the border. And the villages close by had their own rooms where people could stay overnight if they were there for a pilgrimage or for a special reason. There was Opsirinska soba, there was a Svetopetka soba. These are villages that are now currently in Greek-occupied Macedonia. In fact, when the border was being drawn up, the Conference of Versailles, it went straight through the middle of the monastery grounds. Now the story goes, and I've heard this story for a lot of people, that Bogoje Rendev, who spoke some English because he'd been a pechalbar, a fortune seeker, someone who'd gone to America to work a few times, and he spoke some English. So he approached the English and French engineers of the League of Nations at that time who were setting the border, and he told them, look folks, while this monastery belongs to everyone in the area, they all use it, they all come and celebrate their days there and whatever one does when one goes to a monastery. But the monastery, he said, belongs to Dragoš. It carries their saint's day. It's theirs, and it's recognized as theirs by everyone in the area because they all call it Dragoškio Manastir. Consequently, the border went around the monastery and ended up in what is now Macedonia, but what was then Royalist Yugoslavia. Now, unfortunately, the uprising against the Ottoman Empire and the creation of the short-lived republic in Khrushchev didn't succeed in liberating our nation, but their sacrifice was not in vain. Ilinden is a defining moment in our modern history and in our quest to establish our own nation. Ilinden lit a flame of freedom, and it demonstrated to the world that the Macedonian people exist and are willing to die for our rights as a unique and separate nation deserving of our own state. Ilinden inspired and motivated people to continue the struggle for our human rights. That culminated in the creation of the Socialist Republic of Macedonia, one of the founders of Yugoslavia. Eventually, it became the Republic of Macedonia. Unfortunately, they've changed the name now, and they've opened up Pandora's box. But that's another thing that we can discuss some other time. In Greek-occupied Macedonia these days, the flame of Macedonia and Macedonian freedom that was lit on Ilinden is celebrated passionately, especially in the village of Ovčarani. Over 10,000 people turn up to sing and dance and proclaim their Macedonian culture and identity in the middle of Macedonia, Greek-occupied Macedonia, where once you weren't even allowed to speak Macedonia, and you still cannot use your own name to identify who you are. So if you're going to Macedonia, go to dragovci, Ilinden, but also go to the ilinden in Ovčarani. Now they're held on different days because the original ilinden, whilst it was on the 24th of July, it was actually using the old calendar, the Julian calendar, and the Julian calendar has been superseded. So what was the 24th of July is now the 2nd of August. So Macedonians in the Republic, dragovci, we celebrate on one of those days, and Ovčarani on the other, and it's worth going to both. So folks, enjoy your celebration tonight. I wish I could be there, because I'd love to see all my relatives and friends and other Macedonians, but I can't. I hope that while you're celebrating today, you have in your minds and your hearts those Ilindensi who sacrificed their lives so we could be Macedonians. If any of you are interested in Macedonian matters and are on social media, if you're on Facebook, please join us on the English-speaking Facebook group called Viva Macedonia, Žive Macedonia. You will be able to learn a lot more about our history and our people, and you'll be able to celebrate our culture. So I want to leave you all with the words Da žive Macedonia I da žive makedonski narod. Thank you very much.